Welcome to Serious Software's e-commerce training series. In this video, we will be covering how to use the online designer from the admin panel. To navigate to the online designer in the admin panel, we're going to start in products on our left-hand menu. Then we're going to open one of our products. In this case, I'm going to use the Serious Business Card product for our example. Once inside the product, we're going to click on our image tab. Then under product customization, we're going to make sure customizable is selected. Then you have a choice of whether that custom image is required or not. If you are going to have, say, like text boxes on your image that the customer needs to fill in maybe their name or email address, it's a good idea to have the customization required. That way they can't add the product to their basket without going to the online designer first. However, if your image is maybe like a now opening sign or a now hiring sign, something of that nature, where they have options on the image, but you don't really need to require the customization, you can leave the box unchecked and they can add the product to their basket without going into the online designer. If I hadn't already started my image, my button would say New Design or Create Design. However, I have started a bit of an image here, so we're just going to edit design to open up the online designer. When the online designer opens, you'll notice that it pulls in our product attributes of our width and height in order to define what the canvas size of this option is. So right now we're working on a probably larger for a business card than needed, but a 24 by 36 image. Then we have our toolbar along the top. So you have your select button, which is just your mouse, so you can navigate through your different options. You can add basic shapes, lines, circles, squares. You can upload artwork by either choosing a file or dragging it to your upload artwork palette here. There are some options that you need to be aware of. Please keep the image under 30 megabytes. And you have some different selectable formats for upload. Then we offer two text choices. You have your standard text box, which I'm also displaying here on the screen. But we also offer a merge option. If any of our customers need the ability to add maybe a paragraph to a design, but change a couple things in the middle of that paragraph, this merge option allows for that type of customization. We've seen it fairly common on maybe like a good example would be real estate signs. You have the disclaimers on those signs for the businesses, and you need to swap out the agent names and their contact information in the middle of the paragraph. Then you have your undo and redo buttons. You have a delete option if you need to take something off your canvas. You have a quick preview, on-screen preview. Then you have a PDF proof or preview available for you as well. Then since we're on the admin side of the online designer, we also have our permissions button. This is how you control what the customer can see when building their design on the online canvas. Can they add text? Can they add shapes? Can they upload images? Can they download the PDF proof? Do you want to add a watermark to that preview so that way they can't just download it and use that instead of coming to you for the finished piece of artwork? Do you need to add a bleed to that option around that? Do we need a 1/4 inch going around all sides? Do you have certain fonts that you want to limit this artwork to, or certain colors you want to limit this artwork to? Right now I'm displaying the standard groups for both, so this would be all the system loaded fonts and all the system loaded colors available to the canvas, but I can limit that or use certain other groups that I've created for different companies if need be. So I could select Arial here and then remove the standard group if I wanted to. Same way with colors, I could add each color, or I could create my own colors groups to define what my color palette was going to be on that particular artwork. Other tools to be aware of would be on your right-hand toolbar, we have our quick text list. This is usually going to be the default tab on the storefront side of the online designer. And very commonly for customers who are using text boxes, this is how your customer will fill in the information for those text boxes. The Design tab is the primary tab in the online designer because this is where you choose all your options, your color, font, size, what type of text box it is in the case of a text box. In the case of an image, do you want to add a label, get it into a certain positioning option for it. Right now we have the text box for inner name here selected. You'll also see it outlined here as well. And you'll see a lock next to it. So right now it's green, which means the image is locked. Mostly just means I can't move it around. And from a customer perspective, I can't change the font, I can't change the size, color, any of that option. Also can't do that here on the admin panel. However, I have the option to unlock this particular text box and make changes if I need to. The first option or the first choice in your text box is what kind of text is this? Are you just using the generic text option? Do you need to format it as a phone number, an email address, a Twitter handle? We have options where it locks them to numbers only or alphabet only. So you can use that to control what the customer can and can't do inside that text box. If you have some default text, maybe that now open or now hiring example we were talking about why the customization would not be required, you can enter that default text. That way it is already pre-selected or pre-filled in. The label serves two functions for us. From our perspective, it fills in our drop-down list here so we know what element we're talking about or we have selected. But from our customer side of things, it also fills in our label here on the quick text list so that they know which box they're entering their information into. If you're not using default text, I suggest using the hint option available here. It'll show up to the customer kind of in this grayed out kind of background type text shadow box. And it gives you the ability for them to either see an example or instructions about what you want them to fill in that particular box. If you are going to be locking your element, I would strongly recommend using the next two permissions. So allow text editing while locking all other properties, meaning you can't change the color, the font, the size, any of that options, but they can come to quick text and fill in what should be entered in that text box. And then show this option on the quick text list, just meaning that it'll be there on the customer view for them to fill in. Then you have your styling options. What do you want to do if the name or the thing that they're entering goes beyond the dimensions that you've applied to it? Is it a fixed area or can it grow? What font do we want to use inside of the option? What size do we want this particular image to be? For any of your customers who are using this is pixel based, so it might be a little bit different from for their perspective. It's not point based. Do you want to change the spacing in between your letters? Then you have your bold, italic, underline, caps, all caps options. You have your alignment issues, left, center, right, top, middle, bottom. You can pick what color that text is, depending on if you've locked it down or not. So you have all your colors that you've made available, and then if you allow for it, they can add their own custom color if need be. You can use the move options to nudge a particular item in place. Size would slowly increase or decrease the size of the object. And then order is your front and back options. If you have, maybe you've uploaded a background image and you need the text boxes to be forward, that's how you can make sure that everything's in the right position for the image. Then if you want to get very specific, we give you specific positioning and sizing tools here at the bottom. If we look at the image, not as many options, but the same lock principles, just meaning I can't move it around. If I unlock it, then the customer gets the ability to use our placement and positioning options. But I also have a label here, which would help me if I have multiple images on this box. I know which one I am dealing with. That concludes our overview of the Online Designer from the admin panel. In future videos, we will be covering how to create custom fonts, custom font groups, custom colors and color groups, and then we'll also show you how to use the Online Designer from the customer's perspective. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any additional questions, please email us at ecommerce@serious.com or join us on the Q&A session available. If you are actively working through the Online Designer and you're having issues, please use the support request option here in your top right-hand help menu to let the team know where you're having the issues. Thank you and have a great day.